mana has slowed down, you want more of those cards. When it's all Hogak and other turn 3 decks, the Horizon lands are, I think, bad more often than they're good. You might not even want the full playset of Sunbaked Canyons. Once we move into Stoneforge, Mystic, Jund-style decks kind of coming back, those are where the Horizon lands really shine, and you could easily talk me into a 5th, 6th copy being appropriate.
We're underway in game number 1. Collins Mullen going to sack a fetch, get a Sacred Foundry, and going to come in here for 1 with the Swift Spear. Paul Muller, unsurprisingly, playing Storm. We'll see if Storm's actually good again, since it was not great during Hogak's summer. He'll play a snow-covered island, and we're going to go back over to Collins, someone who really does like playing Burn in Modern. And Burn was actually a viable deck in Hogak's summer.
Yeah, I mean, you had turn 3.5 kills and good sideboard cards against them. I don't think the matchup was great by any means, but, you know, not bad.
Goblin Electromancer, the reveal, and no second land here for Collins.
And Mullen does have a copy of Eidolon the Great Revel in hand, which is the game, as the kids like to say.
That's what they do say.
If you can find land number 2.
Another snow-covered island here for Paul. Does he want to try to deploy a Brawl?
See, this is a spot where I think that Skewer the Critics would be better than Skullcrack.
Oh. Why is that?
Well, because if Muller taps with the Baral in play, there's a very good chance that Mullen dies. And if he doesn't, then Mullen's in some trouble, probably. Sorry, Muller rather is in some trouble, most likely.
Theoretically, yeah. Theoretically. I'm going to stand firm on this, just so you know. I'm unrelenting. Bzz. Bolt that. Get you for 4. Trigger. Serum Visions is the reveal.
There is nothing to me more satisfying than Goblin Guide and they reveal a cantrip or cantrip type of card.
Okay.
Because it's like, oh, you cut lands from your deck for those.
That's
it's
true.
So good.
That's true.
Every expedition map, every Nile spell bomb I see, they fill me with such joy.
Sleight of hand. Take a card. No third land.
That ain't it.
All right, Collins, peel one off and we're done. That's a Rift Bolt. That ain't it, folks.
Rift Bolt's still quite good here.
Tax. Electromancer.
That ain't it.
That's not it either.
I know that ain't it.
We might have time for the backup this round at this pace. Paul down to 9. We going to suspend a little something? Yeah, we are. Suspend a Rift Bolt. Pass the turn back over to Paul. Drawing an Electromancer. And now another cantrip, eh? Yes, Serum Visions. Draw a card. Yes. Desperate Ritual's not it.
Yeah, really needed. The first thing that he needed to peel off there was a red source of mana. From there, it's possible he can do a ton because he can start casting Rituals. Now, I don't think there's any way for his hand to get jump started, even if he draws a red source of mana right now.
I'm inclined to agree. Paul, off a lot of cards, only going to pass the turn back. Unsuspend the Rift Bolts. Deal you 3. You're down to 6. There's 4 points of power on the battlefield.
Any spell does it.
Oh,
Skewer the Critics. Do it before combat for that extra prowess trigger. Don't mind if I do. Oh, that's an instant concession to that card. That's right. On 1 land. Not enough mana to cast Skullcrack. That costs 2. Let's go to the sideboard.
Let's go.
Let's go to the sideboard.
Let's go to this. Collins Mullen.
If you want to check out, I'll Vince Scully this round.
No, I'm good. I'm going to stand firm. Collins Mullen wins game number 1 over Paul Muller. Burn up a game over Storm thanks to Skewer the Critics. I've got 3 pieces of the puzzle. 2 Empty the Warrens, 2 Abrade, 2 Lightning Bolts, 6 one-ofs and Spell Pierce, Echoing Truth, Rebuild, Aria of Flame, Negate, and Pyromancer Ascension here for Paul.
So in this kind of matchup, now with the way the metagame is, I wouldn't expect Mullen to have a whole lot of anti-graveyard stuff. If you assume your graveyard's good, you can do a little bit of a shorter game here. You can play the Lightning Bolts and Abrades for interaction, and plus empty the Warrens, try to do a little bit of a shorter storm. You could bring in, the Spell Pierce, obviously there's plenty of spells to counter. The Echoing Truth is a way to get around Eidolon the Great Revel, should that resolve. But I like going to empty, Abrade, and Lightning Bolt, plus a little bit of the counter spell stuff.
We're going to go to Collins' side of things now. He's got 4 Core Firewalker, 3 Smash the Smithereens, 3 Skullcrack, 3 Path to Exile, Deflecting Palm, your favorite, the Exquisite Firecrack.
I like one of those. Same 60.
Oh,
I would bring in none of those cards. Okay. The closest thing here to a card that you could justify is Path to Exile. Often how Storm tries to position in the matchup is play an Accelerator and start going in 1 turn. The burn deck doesn't have a whole lot of instant speed ways to interact with the creature. It's basically just Lightning Bolt and whatever stray removal they might have. So Path can line up the right way there. It's arguably better than Searing Blaze for that reason, but I could also see just keeping the same 60 here.
Well, these players are going to get ready here for game number 2. We should have plenty of time for a time-shifted match as well. So a lot of Magic to bring you here in round number 5. But we want to tell you where you can play more Magic on the SCG Tour for the rest of the year. Now, if you remember, and this is kind of crazy to think, June 29th and 30th, we were in Pittsburgh. That's where we watched Dominic Harvey, Jeremy Bertarioni, and young Johnny Hobbs win our Team Modern Open there. Then we didn't go to Worcester, but some people did.
Yep.
Aaron Barrich hoisted the trophy when we were in Worcester. After that, Philadelphia is where Corey Baumeister, Shaheen Sarani, and Peter Ingram, they won our Team Constructed Open there. Then in Columbus, Dominic Harvey with Mono Green Tron won that Open. In Richmond, we saw the team of Miller, Miles, and Lou win that Team Constructed Open. We're in Dallas here this weekend, and then 2 weeks from now, it's our return to the Cuse.
Going back to Syracuse, that's the one Open in Season 2 in September. It's also our one Legacy Open as well, so make sure to check out that one. Full schedule in October. 5th through 6th, we are back in Philadelphia for Team Constructed Open. After that, we head to Indianapolis. After that, the Regional Championships. You can head over to go.starcitygames.com/regionals for more information as we get a little bit closer to that event. That'll be October 19th and Modern. Then a Modern Open in Atlanta. And then to round out the year, 2 major events in November, SCG Con Winter featuring the Star City Games Invitational, and then to close out the year, the Players Championship, Roanoke, Virginia, December 13th through the 15th.
We'll do our playmats very quickly if you are not aware of them. We got Captain's Quarters here by Titus Lunter for all of our standard Open and Classic players. For Modern, it's Aurora's Light, illustrated by John Avon, and for Legacy, it's Ripped from Reality, illustrated by Mark Teeden. These playmats are free and exclusive, with entry in any Open, Classic, Infinite Challenge, or Sealed Spectacular package of their formats. Go.starcitygames.com/schedule for more information. As we're getting ready here for game number 2 between Collins Mullen and Paul Muller, it's Burn v. Storm. Burn very quickly up a game. I do think this is a good matchup here for Burn.
Yeah, so it gets a little bit harder after sideboard. Game 1, if you play an Idol on the Great Revel, it's extremely unlikely that you can lose, and you're a turn 3.5 deck with some removal for their accelerators. Post-board, it gets a little bit harder. They have some lightning bolts to stunt your early offense. They get a couple counter spells. You're a little bit more susceptible to them being able to set up accelerator plus ability to go off all in one shot. But on the balance, I think still an extremely good matchup. Even post-board, when they have their better setup, they have to win a game on the draw, assuming that you get game number 1. And it's tough for them, even with their good cards, to get a game on the draw.
The Steam Fence, one into the battlefield untapped. Down to 18 goes Muller, and now it's time for a Serum Vision. He'll draw a card, he'll scry 2. He'll consult the hand, and we'll see where these cards are going to go. They're going to both head to the bottom. Back over to Collins, we are going to go. He's drawn a mountain. His hand has multiple Swift Spears. He'll start with a Goblin Guide, however. Serum Visions is the reveal. Look how happy you are.
Just play some more lands.
Here's another Serum Vision. Draw a card. Scry 1 and 2. Desperate Ritual among those cards. Don't know if Paul has a second land or not. That face, what do you think? That face telling you anything? One on top, one on bottom. Go, I think. Yes. No second land.
Interesting to see with one on the top here if Mullen is going to give up an attack with the Goblin Guide here. Muller has already mulliganed. The Storm deck needs a lot of resources to be able to go off. The odds that that top card is land extremely high. Can't imagine what else it would be. And the details on the math matter a lot here, whether giving up the 2 points takes you off a turn. But it's not unthinkable here for Mullen to decline an attack with the Goblin Guide.
Now, Mullen has 2 Swift Spears and an Eidolon in hand. It's also kind of interesting of what you're supposed to deploy and how you're supposed to attack. If you do with the Swift Spears, do you attack with the Goblin Guide as well? That's why this turn is taking a little bit longer here for Collins. He's going to play a Swift Spear, play another Swift Spear, and he will attack with all the creatures. The land's obviously going to go to Paul's hand. Spire Bluff Canal headed that way. And now we head back over to Paul. So now we know he has a second land in hand. He will cantrip once again. He's going to start with an Opt. Scry 1. We'll see where he wants to put this card. He'll keep that card. It was a sleight of hand. That's a part of the canal. That is a sleight of hand. And it is entirely possible that Paul does die this turn.
Well, every spell is worth. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 spells do
Takes
it.
Takes 2 one-mana burn spells. That's it. Maybe, I don't know, a combination of a Lava Spike and a Skewer the critics. Maybe something like that would get the job done. Just as a hypothetical.
And Mullen also can just hit and also play an Eidolon, which is not going to be easy for Muller to get out of either.
This is true. You see these players, number 12 and number 15, respectively, here on the SCG Tour leaderboard. Looking to qualify for our Players' Championship at the end of the year. Sleight of hand, going to keep that card. Other card will stay in hand. And if Colin's got 2 one-mana burn spells, he's going to move on to 5-0. Searing Blaze, the draw. Spike you real good.
Skewer.
I don't think so. Reveal. And it's a lightning bolt. We are donezo.
It's by a lot. Yeah, okay.
It is done. 3, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14 points of damage. Paul's going to shake his head. Colin's going to bring a little smile to his face because he is 5-0, folks. Burn.